By the time he made it within the shadow of the mountains, it was twilight hour. The sun, now halfway over the horizon, and the moon was beginning its ascent into the sky. The stars starting to appear one by one. Rainbow flew up front and reached the top of the mountain. In the low sunlight, she could see the vast beauty of the country that lay before her. As she sat there, waiting for her friends to reach her, she wondered where her other winged friend would be. She wasn't angry with Fluttershy, no, but she was extremely worried about her. Rainbow had always seen Fluttershy as a sister, or, even though she would never have been it, the sister she always wanted. Sister she could look after, want to be by her side, and to stop her sometimes before things would go far. "I'll find you again, Fluttershy," she declared to the open sky, "even if it takes me 100 years." By the time Twilight, Applejack, Rarity, and Pinkie made it up the mountain, panting as they came to the summit, the sun had gone and the sky was abounded with bright stars. "Ladies!" Rainbow exclaimed, turning to face them. She reared up on her hind legs and spread her forelegs wide, as about to give them a hug. "May I be your first to welcome you to Horska, to the land of the horses." Wow! The four ponies chimed together. The darkness of luminous light had clouded the land. Like Rainbow, they could tell the beauty that this country holds. "We should get to the bottom of this mountain. Then I think we could call it a day," Twilight said. The others agreed. They followed the path down the other side of the mountain. Thankfully for them, it wasn't so steep, so apart from a few rocks that the ponies could trip over. They made it down and into Horska with little difficulty. They followed the dirt path as it turned to a stone road. "I think we've gone far enough," Twilight declared, leading them off the main road and into a clearing from the plain sight. "Finally!" Verity sighed with relief. Her hind legs gave way as she collapsed to a rump, the grass feeling surprisingly comfortable on her rear. "I would never have done so much walking in ages." Pinkie and Twilight found some wood and set up a fire that glowed brightly, thanks to Twilight and her magic. The five friends surrounded it, enjoying the sound of the firewood as it crackled and broke apart, while they stayed nice and warm under their blankets. "Are you all mad, Fluttershy?" Pinkie asked, suddenly breaking the silence. The others were taken aback by the question. They really thought about it for a moment till Twilight answered first. "No, can't say I am. Disappointed mainly, but not mad." "I think if we are mighty Sugar Cube," Applejack reasoned, "we'll be on that carriage back to Pillenville. Not here looking for her." "I guess so," Pinkie said quietly, looking to the ground. "Are you not, darling?" Verity asked. "Nope," Pinkie answered, shaking her head. "Finding it hard to be mad at her for long. It just doesn't feel right." "It isn't right to be mad at anybody for long, Pinkie," Twilight said. "We all make mistakes, and we should all move on from them." Applejack, with the corner of her eye, she had taken her hat off and rested at her side, noticed something different in the sky. She looked up and gazed in wonder and awe. "Twa!" she whispered. "Look at this!" Twilight, Rainbow, Verity, and Pinkie looked up and gasped in shock at what they saw. The sky was covered in waves of green and red, swirling around the stars as they were dancing. Twilight, without once moving her eyes away from the beauty she was witnessing, brought a notebook out of her saddlebags and started jotting down notes without even looking. "An aurora borealis," she said hoarsely. "I thought I would never get to see them in my lifetime. They usually occur much further north, but this is amazing." "It sure is," Rainbow agreed. "Strangely, we had to thank Fluttershy for this." Twilight didn't respond. She simply nodded in agreement. "What do you think, Rainbow?" Verity. Rainbow turned to the other unicorn, but noticed he was fast asleep, huddled up near the fire of Fluttershy's blanket and breathing steady. "You know what? I agree with her," Rainbow said, pointing to the white unicorn. "Good night, everybody!" She lay down and rested her head on the soft grass, and fell asleep extraordinarily quickly. "So, what's the plan tomorrow, Twilight?" Pinkie asked. "Well," Twilight answered, "I think we should head to the nearest city, see if Fluttershy came through. Go a similar way we found Applejack." "Please don't bring that up again," Applejack said with a groan. "Wasn't exactly my fast moment." "Sorry, Applejack," Twilight said, "but that's the plan, and we won't stop until we find her again." Pinkie nodded, then yawned. "Well, I'm tired," she said drearily. "Good night, Applejack, Twilight." She fell flat on her side, and it was a spark out the moment she foot hit the ground. "Do you think Fluttershy might be watching this as well?" Applejack asked the unicorn. "I hope so, Applejack," Twilight said. "I sure hope so." Little did two men know, miles away, on the highest point of the city, A yellow Pegasus pony was thinking whether they were seeing the aurora as well. You girls aren't. We're doing it. Girls, don't! We have to. Girls, come on. It's tradition. Aye, fine. We're doing it just this once. Somewhere out there, beneath the pale moon, someone's thinking of me and loving me tonight. Somewhere out there, someone's saying a prayer that we'll find one another in that dream somewhere out there. And even though I know how very far apart we are, it helps to think we might be wishing on that same bright star. And when the night wind starts to sing a lonesome lullaby, it helps to think we're sleeping underneath the same big sky. Somewhere out there, if love can see us through, then we'll be together somewhere out there, out where dreams come true. Final killer rock music! Everybody, come here, come here! And even though I know how very far apart we are, it helps to think we might be wishing on the same bright star. And when the night wind starts to sing a lonesome lullaby, it helps to think we're sleeping underneath the same big sky. Everybody! Somewhere out there, if love can see us through, then somewhere out there where dreams come true. All right, copyright Marshall. Did we go? Are we okay? Yep, perfectly fine. Everything seems okay. Here, you can continue on with your little fake. Thank you, copyright Marshall. The stars started to disappear from the sky one by one. As soon as they disappeared, the sun began to climb over the horizon and into the sky, bringing the dawn of a new day. The flare side, the city of Castilian was beautiful, but now, with the first light of the day shining down on its majestic white walls, it was being even more magnificent. Fireside sat up on top of the main balcony once again, her wings spread out wide, enjoying the light breeze on her feathers that, although slightly ticklish, made her more relaxed than she is. She went down to the steps that lay before the city gates, which were packed with horses. Throughout the night, hundreds of horses had galloped from their homes across northern Horska and set up camp outside the city walls. Freya assured her that they were her soldiers under her orders, was calmed her to an extent at least. Now, as she looked down on the camps, she could hear the sound of whinnying, swords on anvils, and clashes of blades. Sounds that were so alien to her. Fluttershy had small bags under her eyes due to the fact she didn't sleep well at all. Mostly, though, due to part excitement, part nervousness she felt for today. She turned her head away from the camps outside the city and faced her destination. The Riding Mountain Range, as they were known by their horses. She could see the peaks of some of the highest mountains reach over the clouds that loomed over it. She realized she would have to set off very soon if she wanted to get there tonight. Miss Fluttershy, a voice called from below. The Pegasus took her gaze off her destination and looked down the steps to reveal a horse, possibly a colt due to his size. His coat was a dark brown and had light ginger mane and tail. Miss Freya would like you to meet her in the main hall before you leave. Pegasus walked down the stairs from the balcony and faced the young horse. Thank you, sir. I'll be here there shortly. The horse bowed his head and trotted off down the corridor. Fluttershy followed the cord until she came to the door of the guest room, the room that Freya gave her for the night. The guest room wasn't as big as Freya's, understandably. It was by far more luxurious. A dark red carpet with swirling golden lines adored the floor. A large wardrobe made up an entire wall, while a bookcase was filled up with stands with 2-foot-long ceremonial swords. They were in iron, steel, and bronze. The guest bed was huge, bright green duvet, and a golden horse head on the front, while either side were bed drawers for her to use. Fluttershy entered her room and headed straight to the wardrobe, picking out her saddlebags with her teeth and opening them up, making sure everything was all right. She delved her head in her bag and found her medallion. She smiled and hugged it as if it was an old teddy bear. She pulled out her sword bracelet given to her by Star to Trotz, placed it onto her right leg, brace clicking into place nicely around her hoof. She lifted her foreleg, and the sword slowly crawled out of its scabbard. Seeing the Fluttershy that it sang as it appeared, as if anticipating its use. Fluttershy prayed that Celestia and Luna she would never need to use it, but the dangers of the country made it too valuable to leave here. She decided on practicing on using it. She gave a few swings across the room, unbelievably managing to miss anything as it close to being hit. If any horse call came through that day saw Fluttershy practice, they probably would have lost their jaws. Satisfying its use, she slowed her leg down, and the sword sang mournfully as it detracted into the scabbard. She looked around the room one final time before swinging her saddlebags over her back and trotted out the door, singing a cheery little tune as she trotted, trying to look and stay confident. But all she wanted to do was stay here or go home. She soon found herself in the main hall again. Tables had been rearranged so they were at the sides of the room. Any stains from that last night's feast had been removed, and there wasn't a single horse in sight. "Freya?" She called out to the empty room, hoping she might be within hearing distance. She waited for a few moments, but none called back to her. She moved where Freya sat last night and sat down next to it, deciding to wait patiently for her to return. Minutes later, she was beginning to tap her hoof in impatience. Although Fluttershy was normally a patient pony, she couldn't help but sometimes be agitated by other ponies' lack of timekeeping. Her eyes started from one part of the hall to the other, looked up and did a double take. Mounted on the highest points of the walls were the stuffed heads of saber-toothed tigers and bears. Don't even! Now, Trix, look, I have been known to do the obvious gag once in a while, but even I have my limits. Swear it was a Farnesian wolf, largest and most dangerous breed of wolf in existence. When a horse of the Huskin army receives great things, he or she is sent out into the wild to find and kill the deadliest creatures of Huska. If they return, they become a Huskar, a member of the personal bodyguards of the king or queen of Huska. Freya explained as she walked in, noticing Fluttershy's confused look at the mounted heads. When the Pegasus noticed the old grey horse come in, she made a wide smile and ran up to Freya, nuzzling her. "Good morning, Fluttershy, my dear. I trust you slept well." Fluttershy shied away. "Actually, I didn't, to be honest," she said, then added quietly, "but it wasn't the bed's fault. I guess I was just nervous about today." Freya chuckled and nuzzled her in comfort. "You should have said something last night. I know a few lullabies that would send a foe to sleep in seconds." "I was worried I might disturb you," she said, rubbing her hose together. "Are you coming after her?" Freya chuckled again. "I would never get disturbed by a good friend, Fluttershy. Besides, I didn't sleep last night either." She indicated for the Pegasus to follow her. "I am truly afraid about today, Fluttershy," she said outside sadly. "Outside the city right now is around 5,000 horses itching to get into battle. I've been told more will come, probably going up to the 10,000 by noon. I have to lead them all, Fluttershy, and I'm afraid I'll be unable to protect them." Fluttershy frowned, unable to think of what to say to Freya at the moment. "Don't worry," she said with a small smile. "I'm sure you'll do your best, and he will love you, Freya, no matter what happens." Freya smiled back, but didn't say anything. The old mare glided Fluttershy to her room. When they got there, Freya moved to one of the chests at the far corner of the room. "I wanted to get you to this before you leave," Freya explained. It was a gift from a unicorn when I was a foe. He said if I should ever get lost in the darkness, it would light the way for me. She found what she was looking for and brought it out with her teeth. In her mouth was a gem, bright violet in color, shades like a tone. Fluttershy shook her head. I could never accept that, Freya. It was a gift given to you. You should have it. Nonsense, Fluttershy, Freya said. I'm too old to go into caves, dungeons, and all tempests, so I have no need for this anymore. But you do if you're going into that catacomb. Freya walked over and placed the gem into her saddlebags. Thank you, Fluttershy said, accepting defeat. You're welcome, my dear, Freya said. The two stared at each other for a moment, not knowing what to say or to together. Where's Strella? Fluttershy suddenly asked. I want to see him before I go, and thank him also. Freya's reaction was sudden. Ears drooped right back, and her eyes seemed to glisten with water. He is gone, she answered sadly, closing her eyes to lower her head towards the ground. He left in the early morning for Landalusa. I don't know when or if he'll come back. Fluttershy's eyes was wide, and her eyes started to water. I never even got to say goodbye. Freya wrapped her hopes around the Pegasus. Neither did I, child. But Thor was never good at saying goodbye, even when he was a coach. That's just hard on him. Fluttershy looked at her. Why? That, I'm afraid, is not for me to tell. Only Thor should tell you that, if he is willing, that is, Freya answered. Do you think I'll see him again? Freya shrugged. I don't know, but maybe, Fluttershy, maybe. Fluttershy sniffled some back her tears and wiped her eyes. Well, I guess this is goodbye? Freya nodded slightly. I guess so. They stared at each other for a moment before embracing in a hug. Come back safely, Fluttershy, but I want to hear your story. I'll try, Fluttershy promised. She pulled away from the embrace, then bowed her head one more time before turning around, trying out the room. I hope you find him, Freya called out to her. Thanks. Good luck to you as well, Fluttershy replied back. She didn't hear a reply, because there wasn't one. Okay, Fluttershy said to herself as she exited the main hall. You can do this. It's like you dreamed of when you were a filly. As she made her way through the courtyard, she saw it was completely empty. She thought they were probably outside the city walls. She stopped and remembered the horses outside. Her path would take them directly past them, and, well, they would all look at her in surprise, awe, or distaste. She didn't want all those horses looking at her as she walked by. So the Pegasus decided to take the Pegasus way out. She tried up the ramp into the battlements of the main fort, heading to the tallest tower along the wall, again to the top and looking down below. So you can see the large group of horses around an area of stools and shops. Seemed to be a marketplace of some sort. She giggled at the thought of what those horses' faces might look when she flew over them. She didn't care. This is what a Pegasus is meant to do. She jumped up top of one of the mountains that surrounded the main tower, and took a deep breath. She would never tell Rainbow or any point unless she seen as a bragger. It's one of her biggest secrets, and she loved every moment of it. She jumped off the Merlon and dived nose first into the ground. Before she could crash, she spread her wings and pulled up, scarcely clearing one of the rooftops. She couldn't help but laugh as she looked down below to see the gaping faces of the horses down below. She picked up quite speed as she sped past the main walls and out to the plains, towards the mountains where Firewind could be. If I get there by the afternoon, she said aloud, I could start looking around the area for this catacomb. With bursts of speed, she raced for the Castilian, leaving the city a speck in the distance, and a clear course to the Ragged Mountains. A few hours later, she was tired. Her tail was sturdy as it dragged along behind her. Her mane had a few twigs from when she crossed into some bushes, and she could feel a blister coming on one of her hind legs. If this was what adventure was like, she would never want to go again. Oh, ain't you the cutest little squirrel I've ever seen? She squealed with pure delight as she watched the squirrel run from tree to tree. The animal in question was an amazing bright red color, with a white breast. I've never seen a red squirrel before. I didn't even know you existed. But this is just so incredibly wonderful. The Pegasus had flown for 2 good hours before having to land. She was a few miles from the mountain range. but she didn't mind as much as she did when she left. As soon as she touched down, well, crass is more the word. First thing she saw was a deer with a red spot and green face. After saying hello, Fluttershy approached the deer and managed to say hello. The deer stayed a while before running off into the forest. Stuck up jerk! Leaving the Pegasus alone to get moving, now that she recovered from her crash landing. She found herself in the middle of a forest, where noises from familiar and unfamiliar animals were abundant. She managed to see the peaks of the mountains and the canopies of the trees, and made her way towards them, listening to every sound that was alien to her. Since her landing, she had encountered a bunch of animals, from a golden eagle to the red squirrel. This place was the kind of environment that Fluttershy adored. She eventually came across a small dirt path and followed it, always looking to the mountains that numbered in the distance, always getting closer and closer with each step. Fluttershy would be lying if they said they didn't intimidate her. The road soon came to an old stone cottage by the side of the river, which followed rapidly. The cottage itself had a small stairway leading inside. While there were two doors that led to a cellar. Around the cottage, lines of moss hanging around the sides, drawn together by a thread of some sort by whoever owned this pretty place. Fluttershy walked alongside the river and brought her face down the water to drink. The water was probably the freshest water she had ever tasted. It seemed to give her strength back too. She dived her head into it and washed away most of the dirt from her face. She pulled back up and looked at herself in the water. As she sat there, she wondered what her friends were doing right now. Twilight had probably her nose buried in some book. Rarity was starting to work on some new dresses as she pictured Applejack was bucking some of those delicious apples her family grew. Rainbow was practicing a new trick, probably hurting herself in the process. And Pinky was just being Pinky. Her ears flattened at the thought of her friends, all smiling, laughing about something. She could give anything or everything to be normal again, so she could be at home with her animal friends and her pony friends. Hello! A voice called from behind her, making her a few good feet. She turned to see a young filly with a light cream colored coat and dark brown mane. Was around the same size as her. Are you an angel? First, I tilted her head to the side. An angel? It didn't take long to realize what the filly meant. Oh, you mean the wings? She says, crying about flapping them. No, not an angel. I'm a Pegasus pony from Equestria. My name's Fluttershy. She walked to the filly and reached out for her hoof for her to shake. The filly backed away nervously. What's yours? The filly regained some confidence and gave the hoof. An odd look. You stretch your hoof out, and we sink, Fluttershy explained. The filly slowly reached out a hoof and touched Fluttershy, shaking it nervously. My name's Adriana. The filly introduced herself. What's Equestria? Well, Fluttershy answered, Equestria's a country full of ponies like me. Some have horns on their head that can do magical things, and others that don't have any of those things, but are hardworking and strong. It borders Horsecut to the south. Adriana nodded. So, why are you here, and not in Equestria? Fluttershy sat on a rock and patted for a shot for Adriana to sit. It's okay, she said softly with a covering smile on her face. No your hesitance. I won't bite. The filly slowly walked up and sat next to Fluttershy. I'm looking for another pony, actually, she said. Pegasus like me, though I doubt though you've ever seen him yelling at me. Adriana nodded. So, where was he heading? Into the mountains. Looking for this catacomb or something like that. Pegasus answered. Filly's eyes widened. Many horses have come through here looking for that place, but they never come back. She warned. Don't go if you want to go home. First I couldn't help but be alarmed by the filly's warnings. But I can't go home. She shook her head. It's important to me that I find him and see him about something that's wrong with me. Adriana stared at her and nodded her head. I hope then you find him alive. So, Fluttershy said, quickly changing the subject. What is your family? My father went to Castilia for some reason. Mother says she doesn't know when he'll be back, she answered dolefully. And my mother is out there cooking food for dinner tonight. Fluttershy nodded. What do you do here, then? I sit around here all day, doing nothing, she replied, surprisingly calm about it. Fluttershy's eyes widened. Do you have any friends? Fluttershy asked. Adriana shook her head. I'm too nervous to talk to new people, she answered. Fluttershy could now see a part of her in this young horse, and it frightened her a little. Well, you can't be too shy, she said. Talk to me just fine. The filly looked at the Pegasus in shock and confusion. I used to be a really shy filly. No, you think? Fluttershy explained. I never talked to anyone at first. Too shy and nervous. Now I say the wrong thing and they might get offended. Still am, really. I never let that stop me from having some of the best friends I thought I would never have. So let that stop you. With that, Fluttershy jumped off the rocks she sat on and moved back to the main road. She looked back at Sunfield and smiled. Try to have what I missed out in my childhood. Friends. Without waiting for a reply, she turned her head towards the mountains and galloped down the path. Adrada smiled and whispered. Thank you, she said to the Pegasus as she left. Fluttershy clearly heard it, though, and grinned. Fluttershy's eyes started left and right. She listened to every sound that emanated from the dark forest around her. In 2 hours or so since she left Andrada and her cottage, around half an hour ago, she reached the shadows of the ragged mountains. She went to the mountains and swore they were watching her with malice with whatever eyes they had. She was now in a dark forest, following a small dirt road that led deeper and deeper into the thick trees. Although the wood was scary, it was nothing in comparison to the ever-free forest at home. Come on, Fluttershy. Don't be a scaredy pony, she said to herself. It's just a slightly creepy wood with possibly lots of dangerous creatures that could eat you. She finally found her way out of the forest into a clearing. She followed the path and humming a cheery tune to keep her spirits up. This worked slightly, for as soon as she was trying at a good pace, and the sounds from around her didn't bother her at all. As her path continued, she soon came to a boulder that was wrapped shortly like an arrowhead. Curious, she went up to it and noticed it was pointing towards the mountains. She reared up and felt the top of the boulder. To her suspicions, the rock was smoothed down to a point where it wouldn't be considered genuine. She coiled back when she was a small filly, and the orphanage back at Cloudsdale. She managed to get hold of one of the first books of the Daring to Adventure series. She remembered she couldn't put the first one down, would stay up all night under the duvets, with a small light to illuminate it for her. In her dreams, she became a famous explorer, going on adventures like this and discovering lost places. She learned survival skills from daring, found a fascination with history, compass work, and many other things. She could tell from this rock that this was a remembrance piece. Someone placed it here long ago to remind whoever made this of where they put something. She grinned and followed where the arrow was pointing, unbelieving the string of good luck she was having at the moment. She went closer to the mountains. As she approached, she saw something only her good eyes could see from a distance. A small gap in the mountain, so narrow only one horse could walk through it. It became present when she got closer. She was soon walking down the path and her heart began to race. The passage was made of twists and turns that made it seem like it would go on forever. She broke into a canter and made her way out of the passage and arrived in a valley that dwelled between the mountains. The air was cold and a slight chill made her coat stand on end, but she ignored the cold and tried it on. Found her way to the end of the valley, gasped at what was in front of her. A massive arch stretched across the valley, dark stone with loops growing at its bases. At the top was a giant dragon head, its mouth wide and baring its teeth. It has two giant horns on its head that, unlike many dragons, had horns stretching upwards. These ones curved sideways and curved down towards the teeth, not blocking the creature's vision. If it was real, anyway. Ursula gulped and quickly trotted under it, determined to get out of the creature's frightful eyes. Her left and right, on giant pillars stood grotesque statues of several sizes, each with their claws resting on the edges. Each looked old with chips of the present on them. Ahead of her was a door, good 10 feet or so high. It was curved at the top, carved on the front of a golden dragon, its head resembling the one on the arms, body and a tail, covering horns and scales. First I wondered why this place had an obsession with dragons. That was when it hit her. This place could be a dragon's tomb, she screeched, starting to run back but stopping suddenly. No! But she yelled, stopping her up on the ground. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to find Firewing. No dead dragon or whatever's in there going to stop me. She went to the door and found the doorknob, placed the ring on her teeth and pulled the door open. With a complaining groan, the door heaved. It was coming to a point where she could get through. She spat out her mouth and watched slowly inside. While it's been known to her, a creature watched her.